Yes, he's an absolute nut job. I've got stories of Go-Go, many of which I can't say on the radio because they feature quite a lot of swearing.
Right.
Actually, where Brian's concerned. But it's nice not being in a harness this year, because one year they flew me on, and basically I went so fast and then I smacked into the set that I got all chafing inside my buttocks. It ripped up. I know, I can hear it in the studio. Imagine, yeah. It ripped, all the flesh ripped off in where the strap was, in between my buttocks. So you don't tend to get that as Cinderella.
No, I can imagine. I mean, I suppose people don't realise just how painful and how much hard work panto is.
Absolutely, yeah.
You're
Twice
doing
a day.
Twice a day?
Three times tomorrow. We've got a 10:30, a 2, and a 7, I think it is. Yeah, 7 o'clock.
Was your opening day yesterday?
Yes.
How did it go?
There were a few scenes where some of us forgot to rock up, but the rest of us covered it.
People just didn't turn up on stage?
Yes, and we made bits up, and I have a tendency to sing any old thing in songs, which when you're doing a duet can be quite troublesome. But I literally make up any old words.
What sort of songs do you sing in this?
A lot of Take That, actually. I sing, what's that one? Rule the World.
Yeah, you really ought to not be saying at this stage, what's that one? You should really have that down pat.
Oh, that's our 30-minute call for the next show. That was a bit showbiz then. That was exciting.
That is thrilling. So you're actually you've just come off stage now?
Yes. I'm sat in slippers and a bathrobe. I'm living the dream here in Red Hill.
Yeah.
I've had a cracker and some cheese, and I've got half a banana to go now. So, yeah, it's all happening.
And we should just point out, because obviously there are many pantos available. This is the BBC. We can't just be promoting yours shamelessly. Harry, you've been checking out what some of the other ones are available.
Yeah, Kim and Aggie are in Cinderella at the Brighton Ambassador.
Who?
Kim and Aggie.
Oh, no, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Who's Kim and Aggie? Are they the kind of house cleaning?
Your house?
Yeah. Paul Nicholas is Peter Pan at the Southampton Mayflower.
He's ancient.
Derek Griffiths is Peter Pan at the Norwich Theatre Royal.
Peter Pan? He's about 80.
You've got Joe Pasquale and Letitia Dean, Jack and the Beanstalk at the Birmingham Hippodrome. But the ticket of the year for me is Bobby Davro and Henry Winkler. In
AKA
Peter
the
Pan.
Fonz.
Yeah, at the Wimbledon, New Wimbledon Theatre.
Ease.
Sit on it.
Didn't I read somewhere that apparently he refused to do any Fonzie catchphrases in the show?
Yes, I told you that.
Did you tell me that?
Yeah, I was telling you that the other day, because who's on at Sunderland? Mickey Rooney. And them sharing a dressing room.
But Mickey Rooney's about 90.
I know, it's crazy talk.
They're not going to put him in a harness, are they?
I'd like to see his bum shaved.
That would be yes, wouldn't we all? Well, listen. On that note, Kirsten, thank you so much. And well, obviously, best of luck with Cinderella.
Thank you very much.
We'll go to the ball.
Hurrah! I sent you some pictures. Did you see them?
I did. I'm going to pop them on the blog.
A little bit like Lily Savage. That's the line to make you come and see it there, isn't it?
Exactly. Kirsten O'Brien looks a little bit like a man in drag. Lucky lady. Okay, so have you got a tune that you can recommend for us towards the end of the show?
You know what I'd really like? I would like the Smiths, Heaven Knows I'm Miserable Now, because recently Middlesbrough, of which I'm a person from Middlesbrough, was voted worst place to live, and we're on the most antidepressants as well. So I thought, big up the Middlesbrough crowd with that tune.
Right, okay, well, thank you. Yes, brilliant. I didn't realise Middlesbrough was so grim. Thank God I've never been there. Sammy's nodding. She agrees that it is terrible.
Oh, don't. It's lovely. I'll take you there one day, Steve, and I'll make all your wishes come true.
Great. All right, well, listen, thank you very much for that. And on that note, we wish you
Happy Christmas.
All the best. We're going to play some Smiths, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Bye.
Happy Panto. Apologies, we'll have to cut the Smiths slightly short because it's the end of the show. We will be back next week with what promises to be our last show before Christmas. And I'm sure many of this gang will be here. So thank you very much indeed for listening. Thanks to everyone. We've had all the gang here. A little round of applause in the Steve Wright Star. Thanks to Kirsten as well. And as I say, join us next week. I'm sure we'll try and rustle something up for the Christmas show. Bye.
Which was very good.
The first time, though, that you've seen him with the E Street Band.
Yeah.
Now, I've tried, obviously, for some time now to persuade you that he is a god of sorts. What did you make of the O2 concert earlier in the week?
He's not a god of sorts. I quite enjoyed the show. I enjoyed the show.
Hang on, fella.
But let's just start, because I knew you were going to be there, and I didn't know where you were sat. So, just as the show was about to start, I thought, how can I find Steve? I know, I'll look around all the entrances and look for someone who's obviously lost their ticket and can't get in past the guy on the door. And there you were.
Yes, yeah, that was
like
me.
clockwork.
Yeah.
But it was a good show, but it was like 45 minutes too long, I thought, for someone who's not a huge...
45 minutes too long?
It just went on and on and on and on. You know, endless harmonica solos, endless songs about freeways and turnpikes. You know, why is it that people who don't go to gigs very much get so excited by saxophone solos? That guy just had to turn up with his sax and everyone wet themselves.
Hang on a minute. Whoa, stop there.
That guy?
That guy? Is there something wrong with you? That was Clarence Clemens. The big man.
Oh, God. And Steve Van Sant on guitar
Don't
looks just like
criticise Steve.
Bobcat Goldthwait out of the Police Academy movies.
Well, I know
and
what
you cannot deny that.
Your friend Harry, Henry, Horry, whoever he is going for the simple, easy, crowd-pleasing laugh. That was a great, great concert. The passion that he puts into it. Speaking as someone who's done 2 tours, one of them 51 dates, I'll have you know, to put that much into it when you've been on the road as long as he has is nothing short of astonishing. There were bits of it that weren't as good as others, but Jungleland was just exquisite.
What have I got here? Jungleland, yeah, that just went on for about 12 minutes, didn't it? It was, interminable.
He's being deliberately provocative, isn't he?
I'm not. There were some really great moments, because the night was fantastic.
What were your great moments? What were your great moments? Because the night, Niels Lofgren's guitar
solo was just spectacular.
Thank you.
And the second half of the encore was wonderful. You know, he really sort of nailed it, but I could have missed a lot of it and not been too upset. I mean, I enjoyed it for what it was, but I've got a problem anyway with those huge, big arena shows. The room's too big. I like the more intimate stuff.
Well, we'd all prefer it if it was down the dog and duck, wouldn't we? But that's not going to happen. So you've got to take it for what it is. And in terms of that kind of gig, he's phenomenal. The feeling of community that he can sort of create.
He talks to the audience. He communicates.
He barely spoke to the audience, apart from a few student-type rants about
I'll tell you
George
now what
Bush.
he said. He said, student-type rants. How
Student-type
dare he?
rants?
At one point he said...
Rob, you should hear some of the drivel he plays week in, week out on this radio
What
show.
would you be playing, Ian? Let me berate your taste.
The old argument, you couldn't do better, isn't an argument. I'm asking
It's
for
not a question of that. Well, no, it's not a question of that. It's a question of I would defy you to name many acts you've seen that will provide as much showmanship and passion in a 2.5-hour concert at a venue of that size. Just technically alone, you've got to give him props for that, surely.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was good, but again, for a big stadium show, it was pretty flat in terms. It was a very straight performance. It was just a stage with them playing.
Sorry, there weren't
and
big
nothing else
screens and
going on.
fireworks.
Do you want foam coming out and women in bikinis saying
Well,
welcome to Ibiza?
well, I wouldn't
It
mind
might
that.
have
Because I would have done that. Did cross my
Yes.
mind several times.
But
That was what was
give us
lacking.
an example of what Bruce might have said.
All right, some of the things he came out with. Hello, London! Come on, Steve! He said that a few times.
Yeah,
said
meaning
that a
Steve Van
lot.
Sant, not
As he
myself.
beckons Steve. Come on, Steve! Steve Van Sant must think he's a dog all the time. No, it was a splendid concert, and made better by the fact that I could spot you right across the arena, and we watched you stood there swaying, and occasionally, as John Shuttleworth would say, punch in the air.
Yeah, not afraid to punch the air.
No, neither was I. I was screaming like a lunatic.
Yeah. Well, good. I feel that we have won, Rob. You and I. We've nailed Harry there.
And what's worse is I paid, 60 quid for a ticket. He's trying to get 22 quid out of people for T-shirts, and there he is, a multi-millionaire on stage trying to get people to give their loose change to charity.
Yeah, he
Which
really
they
ought to
should be doing,
pay
but,
the O2 Arena for nothing, shouldn't he? He ought to make it free. He's a businessman. Wake up.
Come on, smell that coffee.
And as he said to us at the end, see you in the summer. And he's coming back to play stadiums. Oh, if you didn't like the arena, you're going to hate the stadium. He's playing the Emirates Arsenal, and he's doing Wales. I'm going to go and see him in Cardiff at the Millennium Stadium.
You're Welsh yourself, Rob.
Yes, it's true to say. Yes.
Would you say I'm a scintillating interviewer? Was that the word you'd use, scintillating?
You are better than Parkinson.
Thank you very
in
much.
my view, and the natural successor.
Thank you
Can
very
I
much.
say, while we're praising you, that I read a thing today in one of the Sunday supplements talking about the Extras Christmas special.
When's that on, by the way?
I don't know exactly when it's,
I think
but it's the same
27th.
night as Big
27th.
Fat Quiz of the Year.
27th
And it
December.
said,
Day
there's
after
not...
Boxing Day.
Yes, all right, I'm trying to praise you. There's not enough of Darren, which I believe is the character you play. He's by far and away the best character. And I've told you that many times. Taller than me. And I've told you that. And I've told you, you've got to ditch the short, fat bloke from Reading. I mean, I would never say that to his face.
And
obviously.
maybe go with a short balding cello from
a
Welsh.
short balding cello from well, not balding. I think I'm officially bald now. I think.
Are you?
Oh, I think so. I did a gig the other day which we're filming for this documentary, and the lights are so bright I looked like James Taylor.
Really?
Yeah, but I quite like that.
I'm trying to think of a bold musician for our younger listeners.
All right, Michael Stipe.
Perfect, thank you
There
very
we
much.
are.
Great.
Yeah.
Listen, we have to play more music. It's all about endless new music on this show, Rob.
It is.
So I do apologise for
incessant,
that.
isn't
I
it?
know you'd love to be able to just talk indefinitely. Let's play one of our great sessions we recorded live in
Have you got
the
anything by
Hub.
Duke Special?
Weirdly, I have, because Duke Special came in, they performed a couple of great tracks for us earlier in the year.
I love it when they do I Feel For You.
Yeah, well, you'll be loving this. Duke Special live in the Hub for the Steve Show. What? Come on, switch me on.
You're on now.
Turn me on, Jude.
Always.
That's what the people are paying to hear. I Feel For You, the Duke Special, doing their version of that earlier in the year. We are still here with Rob Brydon. He'll be going shortly, don't worry. We'll be moving on to other stuff. But it's an absolute treat to have you here. And Rob, of course, so thank you once again for your wonderful Christmas party that you invited me to recently.
Great
it was
pleasure in the
properly
Brydon
showbiz.
household to welcome the Duke, because I call you the Duke. I don't think anybody else does.
I know, it's curious.
I'd like it to catch on, to welcome the Duke to my home for a Christmas party. I was just saying to your team, the blue plaque will be going up. Interestingly, you're the only person ever to bring the blue plaque with him.
Listen, I
and
got 'em
say,
in bulk.
get that up.
Yeah. Is it your dream to have a blue plaque? It is mine.
It's one of many dreams I have. Yes,
Can one nominate oneself? How much should TV
well, I'll
have
nominate
got to
you
make?
and you nominate me, because I would love a lasting reminder for the British people.
Yeah.
And before I die as well.
Yes.
Just when I've died in a career sense, I'd like it to be up there then. I don't think it should have to be a human, flesh and blood thing.
Of course, at your Christmas party, and this is a joy for anyone. I mean, a lot of people at Christmas time will be tuning in to a Two Ronnies special. Ronnie C himself was only there at the party.
And not as expensive as you'd think.
And it was, I mean, you're close personal friends with Ronnie C, aren't you?
Well, I know him a bit, yes. I don't know, it's odd, really. Somebody said, a neighbour was there and said, how do you know Ronnie Corbett? And I couldn't really know, really. We just sort of, run into him over the years, and he's a lovely bloke, and I've always been, a big fan of his.
Sure.
People always sort of single out Ronnie Barker, didn't they? Because he was, of course, a genius. But I always preferred Ronnie Corbett because of the warmth. I've always liked performers with warmth to them, like I've always preferred Dudley Moore. Ultimately, if I had to kill one of them, it would have been Peter Cook.
Yeah.
Although the man was brilliant, but there was just a warmth to Dudley, and the same with Ron.
I once recreated for my parents when I was very young, made them at Christmas time sit through a version of the Phantom Raspberry Blower of Old London Town. I've heard of that sketch. Running in and out of doors at my parents' house with my sister, forcing her to do it as well. It must have been interminable for them. And your young kids, of course, I imagine will be doing something very similar this Christmas time.
I sit them
smile
down
politely.
and I no, it's the other way around. They have to sit down and Daddy performs for them.
Yes.
I've made them watch me on Oliver Twist. I've sat them down and said, look at Daddy, what do you think? Look at the range, look at the versatility. Look, I'm being a baddie. Look at it. And then they cry, and they have social services on speed dial. So, they have a direct line like the Bat Cave,
When you were growing up in, I suspect, a tiny village in Wales.
Small mining village, yes.
Small mining village. Probably
very poor.
Ill-educated.
Well, not educated at all,
Yeah.
really. I mean, ill-education would have been a step forward.
Sure.
I had no education.
Did you ever dream that one day you'd have a big house in the outskirts of London, and that Ronnie Corbett would be there? That Ronnie Corbett would attend your 40th birthday?
Well, yes, that's right, because that was another event that you...
failed to come to. I wasn't invited.
You didn't come to that?
No, I wasn't invited.
We've only got to know each other...
Wasn't invited.
Really, hang on, we've only really got to know each other properly in the last year. I think we bonded, is that fair
Yeah,
to
I would
say?
say so, yeah.
Yeah, we got on very well. There was talk at the end of the Christmas party of going out for dinner, the four of us.
Yes, that might happen.
Might.
I don't want to promise anything. Who knows who I might befriend, perhaps in a lavish New Year showbiz